Shoboy Show. It's your very own reality show, Spanglish style.
Kill me.
Somos el Shoboy Show, conectándonos en más de 40 ciudades en el país, aquí en los Estados Unidos y parte de México también. And we have a special guest on the Shoboy Show, una mujer bien pero bien fregona. Mexico-Americana and 5-time Emmy-nominated director who today is here to talk to you about her latest masterpiece, the Netflix documentary Selena y los Dinos, which premieres on November 17th. Con nosotros la directora Isabel Castro.
Mucho gusto. Thanks for having me.
Felicidades, amor. We had the blessing of watching the documentary last night. Por eso todavía traigo los ojos rojos.
Me other reasons, not just
Isabel's like, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And I watched it with my wife and my daughters, 6 and 8. And obviously we cried. But I love that you didn't hyper-focus on Yolanda, the woman that took Selena's life. I mean, it was part of it, obviously. Mm-hmm. But as my daughter said at the end of it, she's like, I love how Selena never gave up on her dreams. Mm-hmm. And I love how they were together as a family always. Mm-hmm. And then she said, and I love how kind Selena was. So, felicidades.
Thank you. That you're going to make me cry. I'm picturing you with your family. I mean, it makes me emotional. It really does, because you make these films and then you put it out into the world and it's no longer, you know, it's no longer something, it's no longer yours, but it's no longer just kind of contained to the team that made it or to the family. It's like you're witnessing everybody else experience it. And so it makes me emotional thinking about you doing that.
No, es la verdad. Es que I want to ask you, starting with this, what makes this Selena y los Dinos documentary on Netflix different than any other documentary, series, movie about Selena? And from your perspective, and then we'll share ours, why we think it's different.
Well, actually, I'm really curious to hear your answer. I'll give you mine, but I'm curious to hear your answer because I think that, you know, when we announced that we were making this film, when we released the trailer, a lot of the response that we get is like, oh, another one, you know, like, and I'm just gonna level with y'all. Like, those are the comments, you know, they just come in. And it's surprising to me because this is the first documentary the family has authorized. And yes, we know the story, but we've never heard it from their perspective. Yeah. And we've never seen it from their perspective. Like, it's the raw archive that they've never shared. They gave us the keys to their vault where they've basically stored all of the archive, both of their family, like their personal, you know, like the behind the scenes stuff, but also every interview she ever did, every performance they ever had. And so it's just inherently different than anything that's ever been told. And this doesn't answer your question, but I guess I just want to add, just for the folks listening, that I don't understand, like, it's the same, you know, it's a story that we unfortunately know, but we made it for a whole new generation and a whole new audience. Like, the film that I was, you know, Selena was introduced to me through the 1997 film that came out almost 30 years ago.
Right.
So
is that the one with J-Lo?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And so, you know, the story is the same. Unfortunately, you can't change it. But I feel as if this is different because you get to hear the story in the words of the family, and you get to experience the story through the footage, and you really get to hear a lot of it from Selena herself.
And I can relate to how you're feeling in a sense. We saw the comments when we announced. We even talked about it on the show. Muchísima gente, ya déjenla descansar en paz. ¿Cuántas películas, cuántas series? How much more can you do about Selena? And to your point, I said, hey, I want to reintroduce Selena to my daughters in a different way.
Yeah.
And literally my daughters got to see Selena for the first time in a different way that doesn't show her in these other films or series. Yeah. And what I feel makes it different is, yes, it's the first time that her family is actually behind it, all of them, y están hablando de su punto de vista. But what I love the most about it, Isabel, is the authenticity of the documentary.
Yeah.
and that it literally has Selena's voice
Yeah.
Yes. Like from her.
weaved into the entire documentary in a beautiful, masterful way, where she's telling us the story as well,
Yeah.
along with her family. So the way you guys put that together, it didn't feel like a documentary. It felt like a whole movie.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So thank you for that.
Oh, that means a lot to me. It really does. I mean, for some context, like this is the first time I've ever worked in archive. And so the way that me and the editor approached the film was to look at the archive as if it were just like footage, you know, like we
Right.
just were trying to make a film out of it. We didn't want it to feel like a boring, like talking heads interview. And then you know, like you see the archive as like B-roll. Like we wanted the viewer to kind of immerse themselves in this world and to string it together in a way that you felt like you were just watching a movie. And so the fact that that's how you experienced it, oh, it makes me feel so proud.
Oh, it's true. But Giovanna, how is it different for you compared to other documentaries or series or films?
Isabel, first off, congratulations. Thank
you.
you so much for creating this, not just for me as a Selena fan, but for the future fans that are going to come from this film. But honestly, I absolutely love it just because I grew up listening to her music, and the fact that like obviously we lost her at such a young age. Like I never got to experience like seeing her live, you know, or seeing her perform. And the fact that like this film has those never before seen clips or footage from those archives, you know, like I was ugly crying, girl, multiple times just because I'm like, oh my gosh, like the fact that I'm living or seeing her, you know, seeing her perform these songs and like, you know, see, even if I'm seeing it on my TV screen, like I was getting the chills, you know, and then just like seeing how dedicated she was like to her music, to her fashion, to her fans, to her community, to her family, like even the relationship, like the relationships, like just the relationship with her family, the relationship with Chris, like just all of that. I think like you did such a great job at like capturing it and like giving it to the audience, you know, and just like to compare it, not to compare, you know, because I think both films and everything that's been put out about Selena is each a work of its own. But like, I think for this film or documentary, like from watching the one that was put out, you know, over 30 years ago or whatever, like, it's just so, it's almost like a behind the scenes to that movie because like and I think the movie, they did such a great job too at making the film because like, you know, I'm sure they got access to some of the archives that you had, you know, but yeah, that's how I felt.
Nivel.
It was just like a little behind the scenes to that movie, but more so intimate, like super intimate because it's coming from Selena direct, you know.
To your point, it's the first time that I ever saw Selena without makeup. And I feel like it was a representation, like physically, of her being in a vulnerable state. But we're seeing her without makeup, like without the stage outfits, without the red lipstick. Like we're seeing who she is at her core. So it really touched me to see her like just like laughing and you know, getting ready. And I'm like, she's really just a girl, just like me.
Oh, that makes me so. Because that, I mean, again, that was actually one of the central goals of the film because when first faced with the massive and daunting task of making this film, it's like, how do we make it different? And the answer, my first answer was like, I really want to understand Selena as like a young girl. Like she died when she was 23. And in watching the footage, like we know her as a symbol. We know her as a mural. We know her as the music that we listen to at every wedding, at every quinceañera.
Right.
But we forget that she was just a young girl. And to her family, she was a sister and a daughter. And so that was another goal for the film, was to kind of really show her as those things.
Right.
And I grew up with the film. And so that was like inevitably like a construction of the film, of this film too. I wanted it to feel like a behind the scenes of the film. I wanted, the way that Suzette talks about it is that the film and the series, the other two projects that the family has authorized, both of those, they have like Hollywood glitter. I love that term. She says they have Hollywood glitter. and this was, it almost, what we wanted it to feel like is like we're looking behind the Hollywood curtain and just kind of spending time with them.
So good.
We really got a sense of who Selena truly was.
Yeah.
As a daughter, as a sister, as a friend, and eventually as a wife. The part that took me out, that I was shocked the most out of the documentary, is when her husband Chris pulled out a letter that Selena had handwritten him. How did you guys come about as the director to asking him about that letter and the fact that he still has it today? Tell me about that, Isabel.
Well, like all of the archive that we were given access to, like when I first saw the letter, when I first saw most of the archive, it was kind of just truly felt like so overwhelmed, both with the honor of being witness to it, but also, and being given access to it, but also overwhelmed with this incredible act of generosity of the family. Like Suzette talks about how for a really long time, these mementos, these pieces of archive, they wanted to keep it for themselves. Like we forget that, like Suzette, lost a sister. Chris lost a wife. And so I think like there's this expectation when someone's in the public eye that they belong to everybody. But like to them, she wasn't this symbol. She was someone that they lost. And so there was a lot of archive that they had wanted to just kind of hold on for themselves. They weren't gatekeeping it. They
Makes
just
sense.
like, they weren't ready to share it. And this was a moment, for them in which they felt ready. And so Chris, like kind of, we met with all of them before we started filming. We didn't start filming until over 2 years into doing the archiving process, the cataloging process. And so by the time that we do the interviews, like I had gotten to know them pretty well. But so we'd met up with Chris and asked him, like, what kind of photos do you have? What kind of things do you have? What kind of things do you have that you may not have shared before? And he pulled out this letter. And I read his book, and so I'd known about the letter, but I'd never seen it in person.
And for some context, the letter, without giving too much away, the letter comes from Selena, handwritten to Chris when Chris got fired from Selena and Los Dinos, because Abraham found out, Selena's dad, that they were dating or wanted to date. And he got fired. So they were separated. And that's when she wrote the letter. I don't want to go too deep into it. You got to watch it. But go ahead. This is what he pulled out.
So they were spending a lot of time away from one another, and Selena kind of wrote him a love letter, just telling him how much she missed him, and kind of, I think that letter it's so significant because you really get a sense of like where, like she was like a young woman in love, and you really kind of get you feel that when he's reading it. So he pulls out this letter, and I'm kind of like, oh my God. I mean, and then I read it and I reread it a million times, and I thought, and it was, but going into these interviews, like you kind of you plan, like, I mean, every interview was like 4 to 5 to 6 hours long. And it took months of preparation, both in getting to know them, but also doing extensive research and making sure that we were like covering as much ground as possible. And so because I knew that he had that letter, I had asked him to bring it because I wanted him to read it for the camera. And it's a really impactful part of the film, because like he's reading it in the room, even like the production room is just like, it was silent, and we were it was just a really, really powerful moment.
And by the way, Selena had amazing handwriting.
Yeah, she really did.
I love it. And her signature, it was.
Suzette told me she used to like, she spent a lot of time drawing and designing and
Right.
doing her sketches for her outfits. Suzette told me that she went through a phase of like doing her autograph a lot,
Like practicing.
like practicing it and kind of perfecting it. And I love thinking about that because she would have been so proud to know that we all love the signature. Like the one that she landed on is amazing. Like she has amazing handwriting, but I love the S and I just the way that it loops. Anyway, she has beautiful handwriting. Yeah.
So you had access to all these archives that the Quintanilla family had not necessarily allowed anybody else into in regards from media. What was your biggest discovery as a director of this documentary, Isabel?
You know, there are specific clips that I think about. I have a younger sister, and so I love, and a lot of the footage was shot by Suzette. So I love the moments in which it's Suzette and Selena, and Suzette's behind the camera, and Selena's in front of it, because you just really get a sense of their sisterhood, and they're always kind of like playing around with one another, and like there's this deep bond, and like there's like one shot in specific where like Suzette is trying to get the camera to work, and she's like focusing it on Selena, and you just see the patience that Selena has for like cameras being around all the time, but eventually she like gets kind of annoyed at Suzette. And to me, like I think it was just, to me, really surprising how connected I felt to Selena just by watching this footage. Like, to everyone's point, like you really get a sense of her as a person. Yep. And I was kind of surprised, and I guess I learned how personable she really, really was. Like she had that reputation, but like you spend time with her in the footage, and she just had this unbelievable humility and this unbelievable sense of humor. And what was most surprising to me was how evident that was in the footage. Like it really came across. I was expecting to like maybe find out something that I didn't know about her that I didn't like or something. Right. But that's just not there. Like Selena just was a really special person. Super kind, super witty and fast too. With witty. Like jokes and whatnot. One of the scenes that stands out is she's doing Siempre en Domingo, which is a big show in Mexico. And the MC at the time, which would be canceled by now, he's like, hey, why don't you, danos una vuelta, ponte de perfil. Let me see your profile so everybody can see how well endowed you are, Yeah. And then she's like, okay, now you do one. Yeah. What I'm saying? Ahora tú danos una vuelta, Yeah. And she was just so quick with it, but kind and all the above, I mean, I love that she was like the OG no sabo. Yeah. Like that term is coined so much now, as like, the kids that don't know how to speak Spanish. Yeah. And like she being, from Texas, coming into Mexico, like that footage that y'all have in the film is so good. But I love the fact that you go deeper into explaining why Selena, her sister and her brother didn't speak a lot of Spanish. Right. Yeah. Because in the era when her parents grew up, like now, but at another level, there was hella discrimination, and you showed us that in the documentary. Yes. Like literally like, hey, this bathroom is not for Mexicans type of stuff. Yeah. Entonces, Selena's parents were just trying to protect her and the kids of like, hey, y'all need to learn English, don't speak any Spanish, so like you don't go through what we went through. Yeah. And there's a whole generation that comes from that. Yeah. And I think one of the reasons I focused on it as much as I did is because I'm Mexican. I grew up in New England. I moved there when I was young, but I grew up in like a really white community. And I think Selena, she meant as much as she did she means as much as she does to me, because she was the first person that showed me that it was okay to occupy two completely different worlds and to be like completely unapologetic about it. Like, and whether that is like me being Mexican growing up in Connecticut, or it's her being in Texas and like not being totally accepted into Mexico, but not totally being accepted into the United States. Like there's a kind of like universal experience that Latinos can understand. Relatability. A relatability of just having these like multiple cultures kind of be a part of our lives. And so that was like a big focus in the film, is like showing the ways that just because she didn't speak Spanish didn't mean that she wasn't proud of her culture and her heritage. And so, she is the original No Sabo kid, but she worked also really hard to learn Spanish, because I think it was important for her, for the Mexican community to understand how meaningful they were to her. And so she put in so much work.
And her Spanish did got a lot better.
Definitely see it in the film.
It got good.
And that's what we were telling our daughters, like, "Ven, sigan practicando el español." And they're like, yeah.
But also you can make it like that, girl. So,
Seeing so much footage in the archive, so many videos de Selena y su familia. How many hours did you see?
Oh God, I mean, we counted once. I forget the number. I mean, I want to say it's like hundreds of hours.
Wow.
Hundreds.
And in all that footage, right? And it being so deeply involved in it as the director, Isabel, have you had any like spiritual experiences or anything like that post you finishing, in the sense that any dreams with Selena, anything like that, you know what I'm saying, at that level, because you were so deep into her life?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've never made a film about someone I hadn't met. And so I spent 3 years, like, I mean, she's still every day such a huge part of my life, my everyday life. I spent every day at, over 2 years, like from morning to night, watching footage of her over and over and over again, and watching interviews with her over and over again. So I really feel like I developed a relationship with her, but it's like a one-sided relationship. So it's kind of weird because I've never had that before. But I think I had a hard time with that, actually. And I think I've made, like, I think now she just feels like she's become a part of my everyday life. Like she's like kind of omnipresent. It's kind of strange and hard to totally articulate, but like I just think about her so much, and I think about the daily influence that she has in my life. And she's a part of my dreams. She just has become like, she feels present to me. And
what has she influenced you to do or change,
I think,
in your life?
More than anything, it's like having a real self-confidence and pride in who I am. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but like, I don't know if y'all can relate, but I think I've carried a lot of insecurity because, like, in terms of my identity, because I'm like, I really am not from here nor from there. Like, I feel like my parents came here, they moved to a town because it had a really, really good education system. But there wasn't a big Latino community. Yeah. And since leaving where I grew up, like, I've really gravitated towards Latino communities, but every community I become a part of is a little bit confused as to, like, because they can't really pinpoint my, like where I came from.
Ni de aquí ni de allá, the 200%er. ¿Y tus papás de qué parte de México son?
Son de la Ciudad de México. Los dos son de la Ciudad de México. And that's where I was born. And so now I don't feel like, really, because of Selena, I would have never talked about this on a radio show a few years ago. I just would have felt too insecure. But like, because of Selena and because of watching this footage over and over again, I'm like, no, this is who I am. So take it or leave it. Like, this is just who I am.
Love it.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being on with us. Thank you for creating this amazing documentary. Isabel Castro, Familia, November 17th, premiering on Netflix. Do not miss out on that. And if there's anything you would say to our audience about your documentary, what would it be, Isabel?
First of all, that I can't wait for y'all to watch it. But second of all, that in this moment in history, we are told by other people and kind of pressured into not being proud of who we are. And this film is a real celebration of not just the joy, but like the real power of being Latino. I think everyone's afraid of that. And so I just hope that people tap into that joy, into that pride, into that power that Selena so beautifully represents.
Yes, being Latino is a superpower.
It really, really is, and don't y'all forget it.
Well, just know that, at least from us, and not just because you're here, it was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Te felicito, and it's gonna touch so many generations to come, and it already is doing. So, felicidades, Isabel Castro, representando la Ciudad de México, México-Americana, chilano pa' que sepa.
One last thing, girl. What is your favorite Selena song?
Oh, my favorite Selena song is Como la Flor, I know. But I love it. I love it. I listen to it every day.
So good.
What's your favorite Selena outfit that you saw from all the hundreds and hundreds of videos that you tapped into?
That's really hard. There's this like one red outfit that I'm obsessed with, but the biggest and there's a whole part of it in the film. The thing that I loved the most was the cow print.
Oh, so good. I see you rocking it today.
I don't know if you can see. I'm rocking this.
Cowgirl.
I'm always rocking the cow print. She loved cow print, and her whole family was like, "Oh my God, Selena!" And so they had all these like crazy, cow print outfits that they all wore. They're so funny and great. And now I just wear cow print every day.
Her sister Suzette said she was not a fan of the cow print.
She was not. No one was. They were all like, "What are we doing, Selena?" But they all did it because she loved it.
I love how down, A.B. Quintanilla Jr. or the third, I should say, A.B. Quintanilla the third, Suzette, and just everybody in the family was so down for Selena, but Selena was so down for them too.
Yeah.
Like a real Latino family,
Yeah.
We're just down for each other.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a really big thing. Part of the film is that it was a whole family effort. It really was. It was Selena y los Dinos that made all this music, and so it's a celebration of that.
And we'll wrap up with this because I think every Latino and every immigrant family can relate to Selena and her family because we do things as a family.
Yeah.
And we fail as a family at times, like they did.
Yeah.
But we get back up.
Yeah.
Sin miedo y le damos con todo.
Yeah.
Y somos el corazón de este país.
Totally.
Duela a quien le duela.
Totally.
Thank you for being with us. Aquí tienes tu casa cuando quieras.
Yeah, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias por tener.
¡Ánimo!
Follow us at Shoboy Show. SHOBOY Show.